it's a bit different. Yeah. So you could also tie in econs and law, and international relations. So this one would be international law lah. Or you could do a comparison between the different legal traditions. So for example, Singapore and the UK is a very popular one. Or it might even be maybe UK and civil law, maybe UK and France. It's also quite a prominent field of research. Or it could be, I don't know, talking about the three shades of data, just different countries with their different laws, and then we try and do a comparative study between them. Or, given that some of you might be more interested in the new developments in technology, so there could be stuff about NFTs, Bitcoins, and I found this quite interesting article on the permissibility of Bitcoin NFTs, religious law. Maybe with the recent development of the new mock meat, I was reading about it. So perhaps there could be something about Sharia law on it. So actually, I found this article, which is Contemporary Issues in Public Law, right? This one actually goes into the gaps, like it talks about the gaps that are currently in the law, and because of such technological advancements of like artificial intelligence, so now the judicial processes might be changing, and there is a dearth of legal academic work around the area. And some other possible ideas could be local legal developments like the SEPP and the Foreign Interference Act. Okay, anyway, for the timeline, hang on. Yeah, for the timeline, it will be on 17th of March. So from the next 1 week and a half, yeah, about 1 week and a half, you guys will form your own groups and indicate your interest. So you just select the topic, we'll send you guys a form, and then we'll look through it by the 24th of March. And then as you can see, there are many revisions available for you guys to for you guys to improve on your work before you guys go and present. And the thing is, because we have too many groups, right? What will probably happen is that we're gonna get the mentors or the i.e. the law students to look through the papers and kind of evaluate which one is the best 3 or 4 papers lah, due to logistical constraints. But fret not, your work will not be wasted, because after the symposium, right? After the symposium, your papers will still be published on our website, and in the following weeks of after the symposium, we'll be posting on our Instagram page your work, so like mini snippets for the general public to know about. And I guess you could also publish it on your, I don't know, LinkedIn. Yeah. So this is actually quite a short briefing, but I'll leave more time for the Q&A part. So I think there's a Q&A option available. Yeah. So if you guys got any questions, yeah, please let me know. Or you could also request to unmute by raising your hand. Yeah. Okay. So how does the group forming process work? So naturally, in the form, you try and indicate that you have a preference to be with somebody else in your group lah. But suppose you, because you guys might not know each other that well yet, right? That's why we have the that's why we have some time for you guys to mingle around during the CCJC workshop coming up this week, later this week. But if after that maybe you still maybe you didn't come for the CCJC workshop on the first week, then perhaps you could just put your name into the form, and then we'll just randomly assign you guys a group. So everyone is actually highly encouraged to participate in this research project and we'll try and assign you guys into groups, because why not, you get to meet more people, know more people, Okay. Okay, what is the selection criteria that law students will be using to select the best three papers? I think that one's quite subjective, in the sense that the law students will probably be assessing on I don't know, your legal contributions, maybe how original ideas, or because I trust that they have sufficient experience um on this. In the past, we have tried to contact I've got some like seniors, and they are currently like final year students at SMU or NUS now. And so I believe they have sufficient training on this. But that if we are able to, I could try and ask one of the SMU law professor, because he's actually quite keen to help us out on most stuff. Maybe he could spare some time to read through their papers now. Is the first ever uh, seminar that we had, actually. Is the one by the Professor Loki Young. Maximum, yeah, 4 people per group. Okay, anyway, once you guys submit your topic proposal and once it's approved, right, we will try and like set up another maybe meeting, or send out some documents to help you guys to kickstart the process for writing as well. Because we know it's also quite difficult to start straight away. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna leave the Q&A open until say 8:47, and then if there are none, then I'll just wrap up lah. Deadlines non-negotiable. If other events clashes with the dates, could our submission deadlines be reorganized internally? Yes, absolutely can. So if you foresee that you have an event coming up, then you should maybe do work on your draft, maybe draft one in more depth before submitting so then you don't have to go through so many revisions. It's just that the one on 14th of May, if you are working on the project, you should absolutely try your best to try to make some time for it. Anyway, we are currently negotiating with the school whether we can like make this a official school event, or at least let you guys be able to leave school early, or um and CCA earlier. Actually, I didn't really explain in depth earlier, right? But for the presentation, right, it won't literally be like copy pasting, like we won't be showing the document word for word. Like we'll get you guys to do up slides for your papers lah. So if you have ever watched like a YouTube video or been to a presentation for a like paper seminar, right, they do not give you the paper literally just there. Like they do not paste the work. They try and like add some visuals and try and like make it nice so that everyone can digest it. Because ultimately your target audience is your peers lah. Okay, if there are no other questions, then I think we can end off here. So thank you for coming. Kindly mark your attendance in this QR code. Yeah. Okay, we have some questions. So I should ask them while you guys scan the QR code. So any tips to generate law topics? Um, I would suggest reading up on the fields that you are interested in. Perhaps you could go into like Google Scholar and then try and dig up some articles, because the thing about research papers that other people have done, right, is that they usually at the end, at the conclusion, they'll say, okay, we have some points that are not covered, that is not the scope of today's of that paper's debate, like it's not under their scope, so they wish to see like more research on the area, so that's where we can come in. And like, are there any sources that we can get inspiration from? Yeah, I think um you can get inspiration from reading the Singapore Law Reviews website. They have a few articles published over there. It's free online. Or you could go over to the JSTOR website where there's like quite a few, like NUS. I know NUS Law School has a publication, so you can take a look at those articles there. Usually they're related to Singapore. Also because we want to try and get our topics related to being relatable to our peers lah, which are obviously as well Singaporeans. So yeah. Although if you're really interested in international law, it doesn't necessarily have to be to do with Singapore's jurisdiction. Will we be put into groups before the topic proposal, assuming that by then we still could not find a group to enter? You'll be put into groups before the topic proposal, but if you're unable to find a group to enter, then we shall put you into a group where other people are also unable to find a group, and then we'll work it out from there. So there'll be an extra option for you to indicate lah. So what does the dry runs look like? They will, if possible, be online actually. But if we're able to, and if you wish to, we could hold a physical dry run in one of the think tank rooms. So just like a maybe half an hour, wait, yeah, half an hour like mini PW presentation. So yeah, roughly what will the dry runs cover? Actually, just to make sure that you are on the right track and that you know how to present. Yeah. So during the dry runs, the team will try to be there and then we'll ask some questions, because for the symposium itself, there will be a Q&A session after your presentation. So expected to answer them. Yeah, so if that's all, then see you this Friday, because then you can meet people to try and form your own groups, or maybe be inspired by the legal topics covered during the sessions. Yeah, if that is all the questions. Oh, there's more. How long does the word count have to be? Okay, it's gonna be 3,500 words. Yeah, we'll be sending the slides later in to your emails. Okay, thank you for coming, everybody. Have a good night. Bye bye.